Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Blonde Fox, and today we're going to continue playing some more Genshin Impact. In the last episode, we finished off Kazuha's story quest, and then we also did a bunch of the levels of the event that's going on currently. It's almost done anyways. But yeah, we only have one more level to do in this, and then we'll get to the interlude. So yeah, we're just going to get right into that. We also have enough Primo Gems to do a few wishes, and we'll do those at the end of the episode. So yeah, remember to like the video if you like it, and subscribe if you want to see more. Without further ado, let's just get right to it. Okay, so the Fortuitous Trial, I believe, is a random assortment of, it's a random assortment of different ones. So this one we have to do the same thing we were doing with, or I think it's a random assortment of ones. Is it, or is it always the same? Because I could have swore I did this one with Mona before. But anyways, so, yeah, we just have to do this one and then we're done. So, yeah. But anyways, I think it's a random assortment of ones that you just do, and it's like 3 different ones. But again, I can't remember. I don't think I did this one. No, I think whenever I did this one on mine, I think I ended up doing, it was a Yelan one again. I ended up doing the Yelan one twice. So it was the same type of challenge as this, but I had Yelan, I think. But I'm not sure. I could have sworn I said it was random. But I don't know. That's why I'm like, don't quote me on that. Okay, coins? Coins. I got out of the way until I was like, I didn't know if I was gonna make it. Oh no, that one I'm not gonna make. Yep, didn't make that one. Really? Come on. Eek. Oh, thanks. It bounced me in the coins. What I wanted. As it seems like there's so many of these things. Gosh. Seemed like there was more of them that time. Eek, leave me alone. I don't know you. Okay, almost done. There we go. Nice. Yeah, I think they are random because I don't remember doing the Kazuha one again. Oh. At least the music's nice, right? Oh, Kazuha, you're just so cool. I'm still sad that we didn't get him. I would have loved to have him.
One with nature, as one with wind and cloud. Time begun. The wind moves. Fallen leaves, adorn my night.
I can't even see what's going on, but again, it doesn't matter because he's done in like 20 seconds. Oh, I got the Amber one again. Dang it. I think whenever I did it, I got the Hazel one for my last one. What's with this? It almost seems like the Amber one is easier than the Yao Yao one. Even though they're the same thing, it's just, different methods. I think I also got the Beto one again on my personal one. Yeah, I think I got Yelan's again, I got Hazo's again, and I got Beto's again. Because I remember doing the Beto one twice. That's why I was like, whatever we were doing, I was like, aren't we supposed to do it twice? You know, kind of like how you did the Yanfei and Klee one twice.
Hey, get him! Go, go, Baron Bunny! Get him! Hey! Hey! Hey!
Oh, Baron Bunnies!
Go, go, Baron Bunny!
Boom.
Hey! Get him! Hey! Go, go, Baron Bunny! Hey! Go, go, Baron Bunny! Get him! Hey! Go, go, Baron Bunny! Hey! Hey! Get him! Go, go,
Oh, that was weird. Like, glitched out again. I think I was going too fast for it. The game was like, no more bunnies. Multiplying like rabbits. Here we go. Event complete. Awesome, so that gives us a whole lot of Primo Gems. Look at that, 534 Primo Gems. That's great. We should be able to do quite a few wishes off of that. But we're not going to do that for now. For now, we're going to go do our interlude chapter. So we're supposed to go meet up with Nahida, right? Yeah, here we go.
Come on, serious suggestions, please. I'm not trying to write a thriller here. It's supposed to be an essay, you understand? An essay! That means facts and logic.
Well, if it's facts and logic you're after, you shot yourself in the foot with your choice of research topic, didn't you? The Tatara Suna mystery. When so much remains unexplained, there's little to be objective about. Unless, of course, you restrict yourself to textual criticism.
Yeah, well, this is my teacher's area of research. I can't change that. But it's fascinating enough without having to sensationalize it, don't you think? The strange location, the missing details, a mysterious person. I want to write my essay on something interesting, and I'm interested in getting to the bottom of all this. That's the only reason I came to you.
Yes, you came to me, so all the more reason to take my advice. The fact is, it's the dramatization that will make people want to read it. There's no getting around that.
Okay, but...
Did one of them just mention Tatara Suna? But that's all the way in Inazuma! Is it just Paimon, or is it kinda unusual for someone in Sumeru to want to write a paper about that? Everyone here is just going about their business. Maybe it really is just Paimon. Guess people here are free to research pretty much anything.
Still, let's go listen in.
Great! Let's go find out what this Tatara Suna mystery is all about.
Inversion of Genesis. I thought we were supposed to go meet up with Nahida. Huh. Not what I was expecting.
Alright, I guess I'll go with my textual criticism and your editorial direction for the first draft. I have a feeling that the missing Kabuki Mono will end up being the main focus of this paper. Ugh, if only we knew where to find that traveler. From what they say about him, this seems like the kind of thing he'd know about.
If you're looking for the traveler, that's me.
Oh, you're the traveler, you say?
Hey, what's with that face? Don't believe us?
If you don't believe me, I'll go.
No, of course I believe you. Actually, I first heard about your great exploits when I was still in Inazuma. This is my first time coming face to face with you and your mysterious silver-haired companion. I couldn't believe my luck, and out of force of habit, I started, examining the evidence. Sorry.
Sawada, for the love of... Sorry, we don't get out much, so our social skills are kinda lacking. Traveler, I hear you've helped many people a great deal and been to many places. Would you be able to tell us about Tatara Suna?
Actually, we don't know much about that place either. In fact, we only came over here because we heard you talking about it and wanted to learn more.
Ah, I see.
Sorry, I can't help this time.
My teacher chose this area of research as a personal challenge. He said it's difficult to get into because even Inazumans don't know much about Tatara Suna's past. But who'd have thought that...
If you don't mind, I'd love to show you all my outline for the book I'm writing about Tatara Suna.
Hold on, Sawada. Don't you think that's a bit of a deep dive or a first read?
Well, fair point. In that case, please ease yourselves in gently by taking a look at Akaba's latest essay draft.
Let me give you some background. This all started with the discovery of some records in Tatara Suna. The writings mentioned someone by the name of Mikoshi Nagamasa, who crafted a fine blade. But in the end, he threw it into a fire to destroy it, and killed his servant Katsuragi. Why? Well, no one knows. Apart from the swordmaker, his servant, and the one who wrote this all down, the records also mention a kabuki mono. This seems to be an Inazuman word for an eccentric stranger, someone who dresses funny or acts in an unusual way.
That's right. Akaba's teacher has spent quite some time researching these events on the ground. This kabuki mono lived in Tatara Suna for a while before disappearing without a trace. And shortly afterwards, as Akaba mentioned, things got pretty ugly.
So first this strange person goes missing, then a murder happens? Seems kinda fishy to Paimon.
Yes, my thoughts exactly. so I helped out too. I asked everyone I could think of if they knew anything about what happened back then. And wow! Did I get lucky!
Stop shouting!
This part's important. I just wanted to make it stand out. It just so happens that a friend of mine works at the Government Records Office. He looked into it for me, and I can now confirm that all the aforementioned individuals did, in fact, live in Inazuma over 400 years ago. Even back then, Tatara Suna was already at the center of Inazuma's smelting industry. The man in charge was a government official named Niwa. Curiously enough, it seems like he went missing too.
Could it be?
Wait, so there are 2 missing people in this story now?
That's right! What's more, Niwa is a name with a lot of history to it. Have you ever heard of the great swordsmith clans of Inazuma?
Oh, the swordsmiths? Yeah, like Ishin art and so on?
Wow, yes, you really know your stuff. That makes things easier. So basically, this Niwa was a distant relative of the Kaidahara clan, the last practitioners of Ishin art. Something then seems to have happened in the Kaidahara clan, leading to their downfall. I don't know the details, but taken in light of everything else going on around that time, it makes you wonder whether it's all connected somehow.
The Kaidahara clan?
Sawada, you left out the biggest detail of all.
There's more?
Oh, yes, of course. How could I forget? Brace your minds, ladies and gents, for they are about to be blown. Or maybe you won't believe your ears. I wouldn't blame you, of course, because in all my years as a writer, this is by far the most.
Get to the point, for Pete's sake.
According to information acquired by Akaba's teacher, the Kabukimono was not a human, but a puppet.
A puppet?
The Shogun puppet that the Electro Archon made should be ruling Inazuma with her as we speak. It couldn't be her. The Kabukimono has to be the balladeer, but what was he doing 400 years ago in the Tatarasuna?
Aha! Judging by the looks on your faces, you do know something after all.
Glare at Paimon and hope she keeps her mouth shut.
No! Paimon just meant, how creepy. The way you described it makes it sound like a ghost story.
I agree, it does. But considering that non-human races in Inazuma are by no means uncommon, spooky events are to be expected. And that's exactly what my book is about. Please, take a look.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of reading. Okay, well I guess I'll read this real quick. Author Sawada, Extract 1. A man arrived in Tatarasuna around 3 in the afternoon. From afar, he spied laborers walking along the mountain roads toward the factories, their shoes scruffing against the jutting stones. Along, not against. They walked like people convinced that so long as they reached the fire raging in the mountain's belly, they might extract from its gems beyond price. The mood that the sight inspired was ineffable, beyond mere description for those not present to witness it. The man barked a cheerful greeting and sprinted to join the procession. Their towering character, who stood half a head taller, greeted him with a heavy slap on the back, and yet his words were filled with respect. "Do my eyes deceive me, Sir Miyazaki? I cannot think that your return trip here from Inazuma City could have been easy on you." Miyazaki smiled like a young man taking the first steps on their journey, expressed relaxed. "Why, Katsuragi, Inazuma is the realm of the almighty Shogun. I sailed upon the fastest ship, strode upon the swiftest sea routes. What dangers could I have possibly faced? And what about the good news?" There was some, naturally. The two burst into uproarious laughter, roughhousing with the other workers until the path's end. Okay. The young man dressed in a linen shirt and wearing a headscarf gazed into the dancing flames of the furnace before him. Now the flames of a forge are unlike any other, for their intensity affects the resulting integrity of both metal and blade. So too, then, was the flame watcher, an unusual individual. At his fingertips sat a lizard, and on his face he wore a smile. The workshop was huge, and the furnace was deeper within. A reasonable person might think that there should have been many working alongside the Watcher, yet he stood alone. Only when Katsuragi and Miyazaki strode into the room did the Watcher turn. This watcher was Niwa, armory officer and administrator of Tatarasuna, born to the Niwa clan, which served as one of the 3 pillars of the Ishin art. Niwa never argued with his siblings and was a worthy successor by all accounts. The post he received as a result of his high standing with those in power served as a statement unto itself. Miyazaki handed a well-bundled text to Niwa as he adjusted his expression and said, "It is as you said, sir. The elders of your clan in the city do not think highly of our plan, yet I still believe it to be worth a try. As such, I have found the proper vendors and procured the materials that you requested." Niwa studied the text and nodded. "We should try some of these new forging techniques, whether Kaitahara says yay or nay." Katsuragi frowned, and with a sigh he said, "Forging is a precise and difficult undertaking. You know this better than most, sirs, and still you seek improvement each day with terrifying drive. Ah, should my lord Nagamasa hear this, the sourness in his face shall be hard to miss." Oh good, we're almost done. Oh no, that's only extract 1. Okay. Niwa smiled, replying, "And how goes the forging of your lord's great blade, Katsuragi?" Katsuragi neither wanted to shame his master nor lied to his 2 friends, and yet he could not think of any way to deflect and so groused. "I see your ears are as keen as your hands, Sir Niwa. The jokes of us unlearned men are as nothing before you." Miyazaki hid his grin. Upon hearing this, Niwa released the lizard from his hand into Katsuragi's palm. But just as more words were to be exchanged, someone came walking nearby, their footsteps light with the celerity of youth. The head that peeked in was round, and in light of the fires, looked like an oiled jewel. The young man placed some boxed food on the side, and nodding and prepared to leave. Katsuragi called out after him, "What about your share? Aren't you going to eat?" The young man, upon hearing those words, found himself slightly at a loss. After a while, he answered, "Very well, I'll try it. You're welcome to the food. We all eat the same fare, after all," Niwa said. The man nodded and left, seemingly deep in thought. Okay, extract 2. The Kabukimono was by the coast. Sunset fell to the accompaniment of darkness. The bands of twilight showed themselves not, for in their place did thunderclouds roil, grumbling the omens of a coming rainstorm. Darkness veiled the flesh of the sea and displayed the clouds to kneel upon the land, its supplication mirroring the Kabukimono, with knees bent and face pointed towards the waters. None passed that way, and none knew what he was waiting for in silence. Time passed, unmeasured and uncounted, till a black cloud suddenly tore free from the sky. I thought it said tore tree, and I was like, what? Tore free from the sky and began to circle the Kabukimono, bearing down on him like a nightmare. Though he was not aware at first, after his studying gaze was refined by time, he understood. This cloud had marked him from the very start. Outbound, a fishing boat drew near, the lights of its bow flickering in and out of sight beneath falling sheets of rain. A mist unspooled across the area, stealing sight from the fisherman. Repeatedly he exclaimed, "It is but dusk. How are my eyes darkened? Is there anyone that can deliver my boat upon safe tides?" Like a falling spear, the black cloud reached the bottom of the boat and was joined in its bereftness of direction. Like a charging beast, they plunged into the shoreline. Scant steps away, the Kabukimono stood, idle, slanting his head to study the grand wreck. Not but half an arm was left of the one who had cried out for help, and with a plop, it landed in the Kabukimono's feet. He crouched to better study the object, straining the urge to take a bite out of it. Yet he did not, for the dark cloud swirling down had already picked the remnants of the ship clean. The Kabukimono stared at it blankly, like an awakening dreamer. When he returned to himself, the clouds had scattered, as if they had never been there at all. As for the ship, could it have been struck down by a storm? Who was to know? Not the Kabukimono. And extract 3. Katsuragi rushed to the doorway and shouted, "My lord, things go ill at the furnace. I have searched for Sir Niwa, but there is no trace of him, and much time has passed since Sir Miyazaki left to seek aid, but he has yet to send us any missive. Look." Makosho Nagamasa turned slowly, his face grave as one attending a funeral. He spoke, then his words heavy-laden. "I wish not to say such words, Katsuragi, but Sir Miyazaki may never return." Katsuragi peered past Nagamasa's broad, stiff shoulders beyond the windows. The clouds above boiled in waves of black, as if darkness now was the only weather. It might even morph into an abyssal beast and devour Tatarasuna whole. Over 10 people had already perished. That was why. Why? Katsuragi recoiled as if struck. Yes, it was coming back to him now, in dribs and drabs. That was why they had set out to seek aid. Miyazaki had been the first to set sail. And clouds had only just begun to form then. Traveling from Tatarasuna to Inazuma to ask for support was normally no great feat, and yet there had been no signs of his return. When a second ship was sent, followed by a third and a fourth, till the Kabukimono himself had departed upon the tides under foul skies and ominous fortunes, it had been Katsuragi who had brought him back and treated him as his own, and it pained him greatly to see the lad go. Yet the situation in Tatarasuna was severe. Even should they sacrifice more lives, it would have been worth it to gain assistance from Inazuma City. Niwa was gone, and none could find him. Afterward, Nagamasa led a search party into the mountains and the area around the furnace, all to no avail. Folk began to wonder if Niwa might have encountered an accident, but worry soon turned to suspicion, and they wondered if he had fled, unwilling to bear the sin of having caused these incidents. The people grew ever more suspicious, and Nagamasa himself strained against his discontent and fury. His face had grown to resemble the rumbling clouds above. Suddenly, a figure flashed by. Their presence did not go unnoticed by Nagamasa. He drew his blade and cut, though only nicked the silken veil the intruder wore. For a moment, they swayed, and then I started to read the next line. And then, like a marionette pulled by strings, they moved behind Nagamasa, laughing darkly. "Are you seeking someone, my lord? Niwa, perhaps?" Nagamasa bellowed in fury. "You dare address Sir Niwa directly?" Yet the figure parted like mist before his felling blade, only to rematerialize beyond reach, but not beyond sight. A ghastly apparition indeed. Was it you who slew my people?" Nagamasa howled and charged, held only by Katsuragi's desperate grip. As the senses returned to him, he realized he was but an inch away from falling into the furnace. It seems that the rest of his work remains unfinished. From the existing text, however, it's apparent that this is a novel of fantastical, colorful sensibilities, born from an imagination well utilized. Holy crap, that was a lot of reading. Okay.
And please read my essay draft as well.
Are you freaking kidding me? Dude, what? Okay. Normally I would just leave this for you guys to read, but this is too much for me to sit here and let give you guys time to pause and read, so here we go. Details. This text belongs to a series of works sponsored by the Vahumana's Veil Cutter Project. It is yet to be numbered. Author, Aquaba. Abstract. The Tatsurasuna area has always been a major pillar of Inazuma's smithing industry. 2 incidents have occurred here, and the details behind the first are vague at best. I believe, however, that there might... sorry, my eyes are just not working. There might be a hidden history behind the events that transpired, hence this paper will attempt to analyze what may have unfolded from the available data. Glossary. Tatsurasuna area, Raiden Gokuden, Mikoshi Nagamasa, Kabuki Mono. Introduction. This paper continues and spans the work of my mentor, Mr. Rumi, and his report on the happily hidden tales of Tatsurasuna, and has attempted to further this avenue of research. According to the data, the blade forging techniques of Inazuma were originally handed down from the Electro Archon, also known as the Raiden Shogun. Using the arts they inherited from their Archon, the people of Inazuma devoted themselves to the process of forging. However, strange rumors that do not quite fit the steely nature of metalwork yet linger about Tatsurasuna, which is a central pillar of the forging industry. There, the Mikoshi and Niwa clans, along with the eccentric puppet, serve as the 3 windows of insight we need to investigate the truth behind what happened. Okay, body. Strange notes for Tatsurasuna area. Their contents are as follows. Perhaps I overstep, but I think that Sir Nagamasa's mood grows better when he forges blades. The obsession to cleanse the stain of the name Mikoshi must eat at him. Also, Sir Katsuragi discovered a nameless eccentric while patrolling around Nazuchi Beach. The inspector bought a certain number of jade steel ingots. Sir Katsuragi discussed matters of smithing deep into the night with the vice armory officer. We at last made a single Nagamaki. We call it the Dayatatara Nagamasa. The inspector was in high spirits, and he and the vice armory officer, Nozomu, was taken by the beauty of the Dayatatara Nagamasa, with that he drew a picture of it, and he performed a sword dance with that wandering eccentric. Oh, and we could not find that eccentric. The inspector flew into a rage and slats Katsuragi. The great blade cut deep into the flesh, cast his own Nagamaka into the furnace flame. Nozomu could not abide by that order and drew the completely melted weapon out of the furnace. He was horribly burned. Ooh. Nozomu died that night. I dare say that while Sir Katsuragi may have committed malfeasance, I think is how you say that, it was out of the goodness of his heart. Kinshiro and the Nagamaki and Nozomu's drawing in the arsenal. Nagamasa is harsh and also knows right from wrong, but even so, he is not amenable to reason. His name indicates one obsessed with purity. Still, I and some households of Tatsurasuna have not been blinded by the matter of Nagamasa's mother Chiyo, and we trust him. I also remain unwilling to forget the joy of creating the Dayatatara Nagamasa with him, and that joy of watching that nameless eccentric perform that sword dance with the Katsuragi. Before we withdrew, we should have divided the arsenal key into 3 parts, 1 for the inspector, 1 for the armory officer, and 1 to be left in the Tatsurasuna itself to prevent theft. But we were in too much of a hurry, and neither the inspector nor the armory officer could be found, so I was bold to hide the 3 pieces within treasure chests in Tatsurasuna. Ooh, are we gonna go on a treasure hunt? The 7 notes mentioned prior have been scattered across the Tatsurasuna area. Among the 7 notes, 6 seem to be of good physical integrity, though they all look quite old, while the last one looks more recent. I believe that the first 6 notes and the last are of different time periods, so the gulf in years between them seems to be verified. The contents of the first 6 should be related to each other, as the incidents mentioned are quite consistent with one another. Rumi once mentioned that in the happily hidden tales of Tatsurasuna, hereafter known as Hidden Tales, that in the past researchers from Sumeru had investigated the cultural histories of Tatsurasuna and Inazuma. Though the place has fallen into some degree of disrepair since the Hidden Tales were written, things have improved since the time when I wrote the original article. Regardless, what used to be an area of major industry remains a place most inhospitable, and residents of Tatsurasuna may be found living and dwelling by the waters. The residents, when questioned, told the researchers of Tatsurasuna's golden age centuries ago, when it was administered by Armory Officer Niwa, Vice Armory Officer Miyazaki, and Inspector Mikoshi Nagamasa. Yet the elders among the locals with deeper ties to the region also seem to stress the fact that there were strange rumors surrounding their homeland's past. A great many of these rumors revolved around the yokai, who are very characteristic of Inazuma's folk histories. A very small number, however, mentioned the word puppet. It would be known that the puppets are neither traditional nor common yokai in Inazuma. This fact drew the attention of the researchers to delve further, and eventually the following piece of information came to light. Puppet did once appear in Tatarasuna. Its visage was elegant, its apparel impeccable, and the way it dressed hid all the joint lines on its body. If no one were to mention that it was indeed a puppet, it would be hard to tell at all. Additionally, this puppet seemed to possess special joint lines that would fade with time, potentially even disappearing altogether, which would perhaps eventually make the puppet seem entirely human. The name of the puppet was known to almost none. Some folks claimed to have spotted it appearing around Tatarasuna, while others mentioned encountering it in the central regions of the area. Some even claimed that it would frequent the beach. Tales spread of it standing beside the sea and gazing out across the waters toward the Inazuma city. What it was that the puppet was gazing at remains a mystery. I'm really starting to piece together what's going on here, I think. As mentioned earlier, the 6 notes all document a certain nameless eccentric. The eccentric, which can also be read as Kabuki-mono, is usually used in Inazuma to refer to a figure who dresses or behaves in a peculiar manner. It is understandable, therefore, why this character would have left such an impression. Should the people of Tatarasuna indeed have a puppet in their midst in curing mass panic, a good possibility considering the coexistence between yokai and humans in Inazuma at large, then the puppet would have very likely become a local resident. What is less well known is if the Kabuki-mono was just another title for this puppet, perhaps because it was uniquely dressed to distract attention from its special characteristics. A workable theory, but one that still lacks enough evidence to support it. Still, it can be retained as an analytical lens of sorts. A list of individuals related to Tatarasuna has been compiled here based on historical documents from Inazuma. Starting from the administrators, the records are as follows. Ooh. Okay, Armor Officer Niwa, full name Niwa Hisahide? He was the inheritor of the Ishin art and successor of the Niwa clan. His family, along with the Akamai and Katahara clans, were together known as the Ishin Sansaku. Records show that Niwa was the modest, intelligent individual who displayed remarkable talent in the administration of territory and people. His eventual whereabouts are known, but he was suspected to have left Tatarasuna and his family following the incident. Vice Armory Officer Miyazaki. Full name Miyazaki Kanio. He was Niwa's second in command, and origins are unknown, and he primarily assisted Niwa in foraging and personal management. He was affable temperament and had many friends in the region, including one Mikoshi Nagamasa. Inspector Mikoshi Nagamasa. The successor of the Mikoshi clan adopted son to Oni warrior Mikoshi Chiyo, and the younger adopted brother to Mikoshi Michiro, also known as Iwakuro the Successor. With his mother missing and abandoned by his brother, Nagamasa alone bear the family name, striving daily to wipe the shame from their history. The records state that Mikoshi Nagamasa was a stubborn figure. He is also noted to be a person of moral virtue and integrity. It has been noted in various records that he practiced forging swords for self-cultivation and specially requested special instruction from Miyazaki to further his capabilities. However, after the famous blade Daitatara Nagamasa was forged, he used to slay his subordinate Katsuragi for reasons unknown at present. Okay, subordinate Katsuragi. Katsuragi's full name and background remain unknown. Despite all the materials I've sorted through, I have yet to find any more additional information. As one of Mikoshi Nagamasa's subordinates, he was a loyal warrior who had been saved by Nagamasa in his youth. From then on, he swore to stick to his lord through thick and thin, and to give his life in service what was asked of him. And Kabuki-mono, full name unknown, background unknown. From many sources, I have combined with Rumi's personal observations, this character might have been the puppet mentioned in the rumors. The Kabuki-mono was a figure of fashionable grace and gentleness. According to the hidden tales, he was brought back to Tatarasuna by Katsuragi and became a member of the community. When the Kabuki-mono first arrived in Tatarasuna, he knew nothing of cleaning, cooking, or any work of meticulous nature. The locals taught him their skills over time, showing him how to clean his attire, dance, and craft small trinkets. Records state that Kabuki-mono was there when the Daitatara Nagamasa was forged, though his trail ends before Mikoshi Nagamasa slew Katsuragi. I believe that Kabuki-mono was indeed the aforementioned puppet, and that he quite likely had a hand in Katsuragi's death. It seems that the rest of this paper remains unfinished. One thing is for sure, though, a lot of thought was put into it. Oh my gosh, that was so much freaking reading. I'm sorry, guys, but we're going to end this episode here, because this episode has already gone on so long. And I know we were going to do wishes and stuff, and I greatly apologize for that, but I'm like, I don't know how long this cutscene is going to last and everything, and like the episode's already really going on a long end here, and I'm very tired now. That was so much reading. It was really interesting because they like filled in all the gaps, because like I said, I think the puppet they're talking about is the Wanderer, the Balladeer. And then I think the blade that they're talking about is the cursed blade that we have, the one that, we help Kazuha, purify and everything. So I think it's filling in all those gaps, which is cool. So I'm interested to see where the story's going to go from here. But we're going to go ahead and end this episode here and pick right off here in the next one. So thank you all so much for watching. If you liked the video, remember to like it. Comment down below with your thoughts and opinions. I look forward to hearing from you guys. And remember to subscribe if you want to see more from me in the future. Until next time, see ya!